Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here to do my comic reviews for the week of September 21st, 2011. Alright, let's kick things off with probably the only comic I ever get from Boom. Darkwing Duck number 16. Suffrage, this villain, the main villain here, Suffrage's identity is revealed. She's actually the third opponent in the Mayor for St. Canard, who ran against Launchpad and Darkwing, Councilwoman Constance or whatever. Turns out she was Suffrage, and she was using some sort of virtual technology like Mysterio from Spider-Man to, act as a supervillain and try to discredit Launchpad and Darkwing for the election. But she's defeated, and Darkwing and Launchpad are. And at the end of the fight, though, the citizens of St. Canard, the polls now open, and the citizens of St. Canard vote for their new mayor, and the winner is, spoiler alert, Launchpad McQuack. He won 99% of the votes. That's right, Darkwing only got like 1%. Too bad. And, however, though, 5 minutes into being mayor, Launchpad nearly destroys the city. And also we learned that apparently the ink or source of Suffrage's powers coming from Constance's campaign manager, Bob. It turns out he's actually the Phantom Blot, and he's working with the witch Magica. You may remember Magica, who appears frequently in DuckTales, and also she also teamed up with Negaduck briefly a few issues back in Darkwing. And the final scene leads into the crossover that's going to go on with DuckTales. Next issue of DuckTales is Scrooge McDuck finds out that Launchpad nearly destroyed the city and is now using Quackerworks to help fix the city up, but for free. And of course, Scrooge McDuck, being the greedy guy that he is, cannot stand it because he owns Quackerworks. So Scrooge is headed to St. Canard to pretty much, I guess, chew out Launchpad. Alright, and that's the conclusion to Darkwing Duck. Gotta admit, when they revealed Suffrage's identity, I was kind of expecting it to be Morgana. I mean, it just seemed a little obvious that it could have been Morgana, that after the whole Duck Cthulhu thing, she could have been a little messed up in the head, but now it turns out I was wrong. I hate when I'm wrong. And they did and the last page, though, was a great lead into the crossover that's going to happen in DuckTales Issues 5 and 6 of DuckTales, and then 17 and 18 of Darkwing Duck, and those will be the last issues for both series. So, yeah. Great little lead-in, though. I'd recommend getting the... if you want to get the last two issues, then you should get them now, and if you've been debating whether or not to get this series, then I'd recommend starting next issue 17, but first probably get DuckTales number 5 just so you can get the whole full story, because like I said, they're going to apparently the two series are going to end after the next two issues. Moving right along, one comic from Image, Super Dinosaur number 4. You may remember my free comic book day video this year. I said I got the free preview for Secret Origin of Super Dinosaur, and I liked it a lot. I said I may or may not get the series. Well, back in July, I went back and I bought all the first 3 previous issues of Super Dinosaur. I read them all, and I really enjoyed them. And I didn't review them because I got them late, and I was expecting Super Dinosaur 4 to come out in like August, but it got delayed, and now it's out this month. Alright, I guess issue opens up with Super Dinosaur, or SD for short, and Derek falling in the middle of the sky while SD's trying to fight a Dino Man called Pterodactyl. And right when Derek's falling, Mrs. Kingston, who's an engineer that works for Derek's dad in the Dynamo Dome, yeah, that's what they're basically called, gives him back his little robot Wheels, saying that they've made some upgrades. And it turns out Wheels now has a hover mode, so Derek is able to not worry about crashing down on the ground and dying. And SD's still pretty much dealing with Pterodactyl, but they both fall and hit the ground into the city. And interesting enough, though, they landed right near Max Maximus, the arch villain, arch nemesis of the protagonists here, secret base, and Maximus is planning to leave, but all of a sudden a tracking beacon that he left in the Dino Dome activates and leads and gives him the location of where SD and Derek's base is. Let me think of what happened. Oh yeah. Basically, also then during the fight, SD's harness was completely destroyed from the fall, but fortunately the Kingston send SD a new harness, which is this one, his original harness, but it's been repaired, and he shoots off some missiles. Pterodactyl and 2 Dino Men that Maximus sent out as a distraction go away, and Maximus escapes though, and Derek figures out that he's headed towards the Dynamo Dome. So they rush over to get there, and they say that Max Magnus is coming. They need to prepare. And when Maximus arrives to the dome, he has this huge Velociraptor with blades on its arm called it's called Megaraptor. Yeah. And right when Maximus arrives, though, the Kingstons take Derek and SD to the upper hangar where they have new weapons for them, and apparently it's a giant robot. Well, it's a giant type robot harness for SD and a giant little pod for Derek to use. So yeah. Okay, sorry I'm not very descriptive. It's just that, again, I'm not opening the comics anymore, and I'm starting to bag and board them, and it's sealed now, so I'm not taking it out. Alright, in the end, Super Dinosaur number 4, it's still pretty fun. I like it. I probably confused you a bunch during the review. I apologize for that. It's just I didn't review the last 3 issues, so it's kind of... I don't have the last 3 issues with me. They're in another box in storage, so I can't really give you a full background story about Super Dinosaur. Again, but Super Dinosaur Super Dinosaur 4, it's really fun. It's for all. I really think it's for all ages, and it's just a good time. I mean, if you like dinosaurs with shooting missiles, then yeah, you should definitely check it out, because it is pretty awesome. Alright, now for Marvel. First of all, from Ultimate Comics, Ultimate X-Men number 1, and here's the little poly bag, and like the last Ultimate number 1, it comes with the poly bag, and here it is. Not really that impressive. Alright, Ultimate X-Men number 1. This just it's a good jump on point because it recaps everything that's happened to the mutant race in the Ultimate Universe since Ultimatum. The only main things I think people would care about the developments here is that Jimmy Hudson, Wolverine's son, decides to leave the whole group, little mutant group that Jean Grey formed, so that he can go find out more information about Wolverine by visiting the lab where Wolverine went through the Weapon X treatment. And also, if you're wondering what Iceman, Human Torch, and Kitty Pryde have been up to since Peter Parker's death, then this issue also answers that question. Oh, one more thing: Jimmy does not wear this costume during the issue. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. It's basically, this issue is just a recap for what's been going on with these 3 characters and the entire mutant race since Ultimatum. Basically, mutants are still being hunted down by the U.S. government now that it's public that mutants were created by accident during a failed attempt at the super soldier serum. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, it is a good jumping on point if you're checking out the Ultimate Universe for the first time and you have an interest in X-Men, then yeah, this is a good jumping on point for you. It does recap everything, but if you already know this and you've been following the Ultimate Universe since Ultimatum, and if you've read Ultimate Comics X, which is where Jimmy first appeared, you might feel a little bored. This is a good recommendation for new readers. Old readers, you might feel a little bored. Alright, now for the next one. Captain America number 3. Alright, last issue, Captain America was fighting a giant-sized version of himself. I should correct myself. Last review, I didn't know what it was. I said it was just a giant-sized Captain America. Turns out it's actually a robot. A giant robot built by... that contains it's a 20-foot tall Captain America android called the Ameridroid. It looks like Steve Rogers, but it has the mind of an ex-Nazi scientist who was tortured by the Red Skull. And it's a good fight sequence between seeing Steve Rogers fight a giant-sized version of himself. Also, when Steve doesn't have his shield, and when Sharon tries to give it to him, it bounces everywhere, then gets stuck in a wall, which is really funny, a funny part of the issue. And while Steve's dealing with the giant-sized Cap, Baron Zemo pays Sharon a little visit, and right after Captain America takes out the giant Ameridroid, Zemo gets away. And while Cap, Sharon, and Nick Fury are kind of discussing recent events, everything since issue 1, which was Agent Bravo, Jimmy Jupiter, and the whole interdimensional limbo thing with Hydra, the Ameridroid reactivates itself. It grabs Steve, pushes him out a window, and then all of a sudden a portal to limbo, or I think it's actually the space between space, like in Indiana Jones 4. I'm trying to remember what the issues was. Again, I don't have the issues with me. They're in storage somewhere. And it basically sends Ameridroid basically takes Steve Rogers into limbo, where Agent Bravo is waiting, and the issue ends with Bravo knocking Steve out with just one punch. It feels like now with this issue, the story is finally kind of getting to its climax, as Steve is pretty much fighting Bravo in what has been Bravo's world for the past 60 years. Because there was an incident where Steve did team up with Agent Bravo, and he was sent, and he got stuck and something went wrong when they were using the limbo portal to sort of infiltrate a Hydra base. Something went wrong, and Bravo and some other agents were stuck there, and they couldn't get out for 60 years, and now Bravo's gotten insane, and he's teamed up with Hydra, and now Steve is on his terms, and it really makes it look forward to the next issue. If you have been following the last 2 issues, then I'd still say stick with this story. It's pretty entertaining. Alright, next up. Avengers, the Children's Crusade, number 7. Wanda, the Scarlet Witch's memory is restored, and apparently she can still restore all the powers to the mutants that lost their powers after M-Day. Now, the issue it opens up with the Avengers arriving back at the mansion when the X-Men have arrived at the same time. The Avengers, they want to help Scarlet Witch kind of make sure she doesn't go crazy again. The X-Men, they want to bring her to justice, as Cyclops put it. So now the Avengers and X-Men sort of fight over what's going to happen to Wanda. And when this is going on, Scarlet Witch puts them all in sort of a sleep-like trance. And she teleports herself and the Young Avengers back to Latveria, where she meets with Doctor Doom. And she tells the Young Avengers that she and Victor worked together back when Wanda was depressed and wanted to figure out a way to bring back her 2 sons. She sort of made a deal with Victor Von Doom to kind of tap the life force. Yeah. And I'm not talking, Star Wars. I mean, the actual life force. Oh my god, this sounds exactly like the Force. Anyways, they were pretty much going to try to control all life itself, but having that power made Wanda go insane and led to Avengers disassembled. Now Wanda and Doom hope that they can do this again, but this time restore all the powers to the mutants that were depowered. And also, Wiccan gets his powers back. Apparently he had them the whole time. It's complicated magic. So Doom, and this time they plan to do the spell with Wiccan so that Doom doesn't try to seize full control of the life force power and stuff. So while Doom, Scarlet Witch, and Wiccan are chanting and getting the spell ready, Patriot is a little freaked out, and he's worried that Doom might double-cross them and keep the power, so Patriot tries to try to interrupt the spell, and he does so. He accidentally shoots one of Hawkeye's arrows at Wanda, and now that basically stops that sort of interrupts the spell, and it's not fully cast. And Wanda's fine, though, so's Wiccan, but the final page of the issue is Doctor Doom with white robes, and his mask is off, and his face is fully healed, like at the end of Secret. And he's basically, now he has the power of the life force. Okay. Gotta say that final page with Doctor Doom's face healed without his mask, it kind of reminded me of Secret War, at the end of issue 11 of Secret Wars, where Doctor Doom had absorbed the Beyonder's power. Alright, anyways, Avengers Children's Crusade. We're 7 issues into this, there's only 2 issues left, and this series is still bi-monthly, apparently. If you have been if you are still patient and you're still with this story since issue 1, I say good job. Wait till the last 2 issues, because, I mean, if you're still in at this point, I would still wait for the last 2 issues just to see where this ends. What else? Oh yeah, if you haven't been reading this, and like say you've just gotten into Young Avengers maybe a month ago, I would wait for the trade to come out, because this series has been out for like a year, but again, the issues are coming out every 2 months. It's bi-monthly. No, that's not I think that's the right word to describe it, yeah. So anyways, if you have been reading this since the beginning, then I say stick with it, but if you haven't and you want to check it out, wait for the trade, okay? I checked on Amazon to see if they had any information about it, and apparently it might come out in February 2012. So, yeah. Moving right. Alright, now for DC. Young Justice number 8. This still continues the origin... Okay, based off the TV series, it still continues the sort of origin of Artemis here, about how she found out about the team, and how she sort of lended a hand during the team's battle with the Amazo android. And it shows how Batman and Green Arrow contacted her and sort of got her into the team. And the last page, though, is pretty much the direct intro into the first episode where Artemis appeared. Yeah, if you like Artemis in the TV show, then I would recommend this to you, and last issue too, because this is the second part of the same story. Also, if you like the TV show, then you should check out the series, because it is fun. And I know I always say there have been new episodes in a while, but good news is Cartoon Network's now going to start airing new episodes. I'm already aware that there's going to be one tonight and one next Friday. Don't know what's going to happen after that, but I hope they crank out the rest of the season soon. Alright, anyways, back to the comic. Still, if you like the TV show, then yeah, this could be a lot of fun for you. Alright, now for number 1 that I'm pretty sure has had a lot of people have been waiting for. Batman number 1, written by Scott Snyder. Alright, now how do they open up a number 1 featuring Batman? He fights every single supervillain in Arkham Asylum because it's a mass breakout. And also, apparently, when Batman runs to the Joker helps him out by fighting the villains too. Weird. But back to the Batcave, it's revealed that the Joker that helped Batman was actually Dick Grayson in disguise that Batman had gone to Arkham undercover so that he could get some information on the breakout. And also, Batman creates a new sort of contact lens that's directly linked to the Batcave's processor, so he could pretty much have the Bat computer on the go. And as Bruce Wayne has promised to help rebuild Gotham City by rebuilding all the old buildings and refurbishing Gotham's public transportation system. But back to Batman. Batman investigates a murder where Harvey Bullock is on the scene, and Batman basically uses his new bat contact lens to scan one of the murder weapons to get for a DNA scan, and then he finds a message left by the killer that says Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow. And here's where the story gets really interesting. If you don't want to know what happens, then I'd say skip until the end. Skip until the end of this to skip it. Okay. Batman gets the DNA. Batman gets contacted by Alfred that the DNA results came in, and apparently the DNA on the weapon belongs to Dick Grayson. So there's a real twist ending for you, and that's where it ends. Okay, Scott Snyder. I really do like this issue. Scott Snyder does an amazing job on this. I mean, I really enjoyed his run on Detective Comics when he was writing Dick Grayson as Batman, but now he's writing Bruce Wayne, and this is pretty awesome. I mean, especially with that new bat contact lens. Although, granted, it does kind of remind me of the contact lenses that Gwen Cooper uses in Torchwood. All right, back to Batman. Awesome issue. Scott Snyder does an amazing job with it. We get opening scene, Batman pretty much fighting every villain in Arkham. Then, and it ends with the ending that makes you hook on and just want to wait. Really makes you want to get to the next issue soon so you can figure out what's going on. I would definitely recommend Batman #1. The reason why I'm only getting one Bat title is because don't get me wrong, Batman is one of my favorite heroes. He's definitely in my top 3. It's just I find that DC overmarkets him too much, and if I don't find a very good steady amount of if I try to keep my Batman amount to a minute, if I don't keep my Batman amount of comics to like a minimum, then I might, and with the way DC markets him, I might just feel overwhelmed and may think that Batman may become overrated, and I don't want that to happen. So, heads up, this is probably the only Bat book I'm going to get. But still, it's written by Scott Snyder. I love the guy in Detective Comics, so and I love this first issue, so hopefully I'm definitely going to enjoy his run on this series. Alright, and that's everything. Batman #1 by Scott Snyder. Very awesome. If you loved his work on Detective Comics, pick it up. Young Justice #8. Like the TV show, and if you are a fan of the character Artemis, then I would say pick this up. Avengers #7, Children's Crusade. If you have been sticking with this series, I'd say keep going until the end. For those of you who haven't, but want to check it out, wait for the trade. Captain America #3. It feels like Ed Brubaker is finally letting the ball rolling with this issue. Ultimate Comics X-Men #1 it really is new reader friendly, and however, for readers since Ultimatum, you may find this a little boring since it just recaps everything you know. Super Dinosaur #4, very fun, really enjoyable. If you love dinosaurs with missiles, check it out. And Darkwing Duck #16. Nice ending, great lead into the DuckTales crossover. I hope the crossover really does pay off and is a well-deserved finale for Darkwing. And that's all my comics for this week. Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.